If your team stores files in SharePoint, like Excel workbooks, CSVs, even plain text, you might still be manually downloading them just to load them into Power BI. And if you tried connecting directly, you may have run into some confusing errors or ended up with a report that looks like it swallowed a dictionary. So much metadata. I'm Justin from Pragmatic Works, and today I'm going to show you the right way to connect Power BI to SharePoint, including the connector trap that catches almost everyone the first time. Let's get to it. Two connectors you'll use today: SharePoint Online List for structured list data, and the SharePoint Folder for files like Excel, CSV, or text files. Let me show you right here in Get Data. Click on More, go to SharePoint, and you can see there's three options here. SharePoint List is one that we'll avoid. We'll talk about that later. Now, you'll only ever need the root URL for the SharePoint site, not the full path to the file or list. Today's demo uses a Microsoft 365 team site, the most common setup when a team is actively maintaining data. But from a practical standpoint, a team site and a communication site both work identically in Power BI. Same connectors, same URL format, same authentication. The difference is purpose. I made a team site here because that would be the most common one that people would make for this scenario. So team sites are for collaboration and maintain data. Communication sites are more for broadcasting information broadly. If your team is actively editing the data, you're almost certainly on a team site. Authentication follows your Microsoft 365 login. As I mentioned, when we go to Get Data in Power BI and we search for SharePoint, we find three options. The SharePoint List, this one here, last on the list, is a legacy connector built on the SharePoint 2010 and 2013 REST API. SharePoint Online List, which is the modern connector, built on the Microsoft Graph API. This is the one to use. The legacy connector still works. Microsoft kept it for backward compatibility, but it has some real problems like slower query performance. It pulls in far more system columns and metadata noise than the modern connector. And it's based on an API that Microsoft stopped actively developing years ago. So if you're on Microsoft 365, which you are if you're using SharePoint Online, always use SharePoint Online List. So a simple rule: if the connector name doesn't say online, don't use it for list data. Here's a quick pro tip. If you inherited a report using the legacy connector, repointing it to the online list connector often produces a noticeable refresh speed improvement. So I do suggest it. All right, let's hop over to my SharePoint site, and I'm going to show you how to create a SharePoint list from an Excel file. So before connecting Power BI to a SharePoint list, we actually need a list, right? Rather than building columns from scratch, SharePoint can import an Excel table directly as the foundation of a new list. The fastest way to migrate existing data into a live, maintainable source. All right, here I am on my team site, and I'm going to go to Site Contents and show you that I do have a list that I imported right here. I started with an Excel spreadsheet. So how did I do that? Well, you can click on the New button here. You can do a New List from Site Contents, or you can do this from the home screen. Click on New, then List, and you just say Import from Excel, and you navigate to that list, and boom, you've got your SharePoint list already started. Now, at this point, these two documents are independent of one another. The SharePoint list is independent from the Excel sheet, so they're not connected anymore. You now are maintaining a SharePoint list. So just remember that this is a one-time import. The list is now independent of the original Excel file. Changes to the file don't sync to the list. Another tip here: clean up column names before import. No spaces, be short and descriptive. SharePoint uses these as internal field names, and spaces become underscores, which creates messy references later. All right, let's go ahead and connect Power BI to this SharePoint list. Let's hop over to Power BI. Once you click on Get Data and type in SharePoint into the search bar, let's click on SharePoint Online List and click Connect. Now, it's asking for the site URL. Remember, if we take the entire URL of that list, for example, let's click on the list. That list has a URL. If I take the entire URL and try to put that into Power BI, I will get an error here. That error is telling me that I don't need I have way too much information here. So a couple of ways to handle this. You can delete that completely and just paste in the part of the URL that goes right up to the name of the site. You can zero in right there. The name of the site is the last part that we need. The other option is to simply put the entire URL for the list in here and then just back up to this point where it ends with the root URL for the site. Click OK. And then if we try to connect here, we should get an error. We need to go to Microsoft account and go ahead and sign in. Once I've authenticated, I can click connect. And now I can search for the exact list that I'm trying to connect to. Now, this list was called sales data. And so I've pointed my SharePoint Online List connector to the root URL of the site. Now I'm going to choose the list. If I click transform data here, I'm heading into the Power Query editor. Now let's notice that I brought in this list. It's now a query in my Power Query editor, and I have a lot of columns. Now this is a lot more columns than I actually have in that view of that list. Let's go look at that list again. You can see I have far fewer columns in the view of this list right here. So a little tip here, when you are connecting to this list using Get Data, let's go back to SharePoint Online List and click Connect. Look at this little view mode right here. So we can go to retrieve the columns set in the default view of the SharePoint list. So this is only going to bring in those columns instead of bringing in massive amounts of metadata that we have to clean up in the Power Query editor. It's not the end of the world to choose the columns that we want in the Power Query editor, but this eliminates that step. All right, in my Power Query editor now, you can see that I have 2 queries. The second one I did only has a handful of columns that are in my view. Now, a quick note on that default view. If you do add columns to that SharePoint list, make sure that you are adding them to the default view if you connect this way. Just a warning. That first time I connected where I did not switch it to the default view and I got all of these columns here, I can always click Choose Columns to see a vertical list of all the columns that I want to bring into my report. So I don't need to load them all. I can do the cleanup here. It's not the end of the world, but the second way was a little bit more convenient as long as I remember that if I add columns, I add them to that default view. But this right here with all these columns is very similar to what the problem was with that old connector. That legacy connector brought in so many columns that cleanup was the first requirement. All right, back to my SharePoint site. Now that Power BI is reading from your live list, the accuracy of your report depends entirely on what goes into it. If team members edit rows directly in the list grid, you get typos, inconsistent values, and accidental deletions. SharePoint's built-in list form solves this, and it requires no additional tools or licenses. Now, you can certainly integrate Power Apps and Power Automate and Microsoft Forms into this, but it's not necessarily required. So let me just show you this little bonus here while we're on lists and create a form. Once I create the new form for this list, I just give this form so this is add items to this list, right? And once I do that, I can then send the form off and have people bookmark the form and just use the form for entry. Then I go into my permission settings of the list and I lock it down so that no manual manipulation of the list can occur. The use of a form right here is a really nice way to level up the use of a SharePoint list as a data source in Power BI. When you're making that form, you can choose which items get filled out, and you can even give it a theme, and you can add a start date and an end date and some other settings in here too. Pretty simple to walk through. And then you send the form off, you have a link to it, and you share that link with other people right here. Copy the link, and you're on your way. So just to remember here on this particular topic, the form runs in the list's own permissions context. So users can submit new items through the form even after you restrict direct grid editing. SharePoint handles the write operation transparently. All right, so once you go into the list settings and you click on permissions for this list, you'll find this button here, Stop Inheriting Permission. Now, this button breaks the link from site level permissions. So what you would do is probably remove the contribute and edit access for general users and grant read-only access. Users can still view list data and submit new items via the form that you just created, but cannot edit or delete existing rows directly. So what users would experience after lockdown is that the new item button remains visible and functional. So clicking it opens the form as normal. If a user clicks on an existing row to edit it directly, SharePoint returns a permissions error. So that's the intended behavior here. All right, let's get back to connecting to SharePoint via Power BI when we're not talking about a list. All right, let's look at some of the other items on my SharePoint site here. If I go to site contents, you see that I have a document library here. I just used the generic one called documents that we're all given, and I put in a few items there. That same sales data list is not a list anymore. It's a file in a library. So let's see if we can connect to it. Here we go, back to Power BI, and let's click on Get Data and search for SharePoint again. And this time we're going to use SharePoint Folder because we're going to access that Documents folder. So let's hit Connect. And again, we're asked for the site URL. So once we paste the site URL, not the entire URL of the library. If you do that, you will get an error. So you want to stop it right at the name of the site. Click OK. So remember, while it's working here, this connector is for files, not SharePoint lists. So we're using SharePoint Online List for lists, and we're using SharePoint Folder for files. All right, so the navigator here shows every file in the document library that I can connect to. So what I want to do is click on Transform Data to head over to the Power Query Editor. All right, so now that I'm over here, I've connected to this library. I need to click on this Combine Files under my Combine Binary here. So you can see here that the file that I'm going to use is the first file. Here we are in the Power Query Editor after connecting using the SharePoint Folder connector. So here I'm going to, remember, I want to use just that sales data. So I'm going to deselect all of the other possible files here, and I'm just going to connect to that sales data file. It's an Excel workbook. Click OK here, and now I can do a combine binaries. All right, and let's say I want my quarterly sales. So I'll bring that in, click OK, and you can see from the source name known as sales data, that Excel workbook, what we can see here is that I'm looking at only the quarterly sales sheet. I can go ahead and promote headers if that hasn't happened yet, but it looks like everything is looking good right now. So we would repeat this process for the budget versus actual if we wanted to do the second query that we saw there. But the process would be the same. What I'll do now is go ahead and close and apply. And I've brought this data into my Power BI report. So a few notes. When it comes to metadata, Excel files via SharePoint Folder bring far less metadata noise than lists do. Mostly file level columns like name, extension, date modified, those kinds of things. So filter those out during the expansion step or simply don't select them when choosing your sheet. It's a much lighter cleanup than a list. A common roadblock here is the same URL mistake as when we connect to lists. Pasting the full file path instead of the site root causes a connection error. So worth a quick callback here, since some viewers will try the file connector first. So a little bit of a pro tip. If you have multiple Excel files in a folder with the same structure, SharePoint Folder can combine them automatically using the Combine Files button in Power Query. It's great for month by month or region by region exports, where it's periodic reports. All right, now one last thing. We can use the same SharePoint Folder connector to connect to a flat file. So let's look at putting in our site URL again, only the site URL. And so this time we're going to look at just bringing in that product catalog, which is a text file here. So we're going to click Transform Data, and in the Power Query Editor, we will now sort down to just that right there. And we'll click on the Combine Binaries. We'll use the product catalog text file. Power Query auto-detected the comma delimiter. It promoted headers. So just check that your headers are right and confirm any other of your columns and metadata here so you can do some typical cleanup here before you close and apply. So we used our SharePoint folder connector to connect to some flat data as well. So same process as connecting to a document in a SharePoint document library. All right, so there were 3 source types: SharePoint lists, Excel files inside a document library, and flat files, in this case, TXT. Now, the connector rule, remember that SharePoint Online List is for lists, SharePoint Folder is for files. Don't use the legacy connector. There's no need for it anymore. It's only there for legacy purposes. When you schedule a refresh, once published to the Power BI service, you just go to the dataset settings, data source credentials, and sign in with your Microsoft 365 account. Then you can set a refresh schedule. SharePoint sources refresh reliably on daily schedules for most organizations. So a final reminder, stable file names and folder locations matter. If a file is renamed or moved in SharePoint, the connection breaks. You now have everything you need to connect Power BI directly to SharePoint: lists, Excel files, and flat files without downloading anything manually. Use the right connector, clean up the metadata in Power Query, lock down your lists with the built-in form, and your reports will refresh automatically whenever your source data changes. If this helped, hit the like and subscribe and drop a comment below if you ran into a specific error that I didn't cover. All right, I'm Justin from Pragmatic Works, and I'll see you next time.